Let's bring in the Just Stop Oil spokesperson, Alex de Koning.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you think of what Mike said?
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on. In all honesty, this is another kind of ridiculous debate. This would fundamentally ruin the right to protest. Look, a lot of people want Just Stop Oil to stop. Fair enough. The easiest way to get Just Stop Oil to stop is to stop all new oil and gas licenses. We could have been finished this week, but Rishi Sunak kept opening more oil and gas licenses. None of us want to be here, but if we go away, the climate crisis
Alex,
doesn't go away.
We live in a democracy. Labour support what the Conservatives have done. So you've got, in fact, I think probably the Lib Dems do as well. I mean, so you've got the bulk of MPs in the House of Commons supporting what the government is doing. So where do you come in?
Supporting what the government is doing in terms of oil and gas licenses, or in terms of the bills?
Labour aren't going to undo those new oil and gas licenses.
They would endorse those licenses.
Yeah, and how shameful is that?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's shameful or not. It means the majority of people in this country don't want to be inconvenienced.
That's actually not what that means. That's not what that means at all. If you look at any of the polling, you'd like to see, what would the country like to see? We'd like to see wind farms. We'd like to see hydro. We'd like to see solar. No one wants to open new oil fields. I'm sorry,
and these guys don't want cheap energy.
Do you see the number of people that come out when we're opening a new fracking site? Do you see how angry people get about this? How can you sit here and say that's what the public wants?
They get angry about wind. You try and build a wind turbine, they get angry as well. Go on, Alex.
The cheapest form of energy is onshore wind, and currently that's been blocked by this government.
Rubbish.
It is, yeah.
What's a nonsense.
Why do you say that, Mike?
I say that because the wind doesn't blow every day. So if the wind isn't blowing and the lights are going out, you've got to fire up a coal-fired power station to provide the energy, because electricity comes from gas.
Mike,
I think your whole policy is
boring.
nonsensical. Utterly nonsensical.
Let me just ask Alex about what we're discussing, which is the bail thing, Alex. Is it okay? Is it justifiable, given that you know that you're breaking the law with some of these protests, that they say, look, if you are arrested and charged, you've got to be inside, in custody, until the trial?
Good thinking.
Look, can we please just put some perspective on this, okay?
I'm just asking you a question.
We might disrupt... I know, but I'm just saying we might disrupt the ashes for 5 minutes, okay? That's nowhere near a prisonable offence. We are talking about these oil and gas licenses, which, if they go ahead, is going to completely ruin our chances of a livable future, okay?
Rubbish.
The head of the UN, one of the most famous politicians in the entire world, and the most important politician in the entire world, has said that climate activists are sometimes depicted as dangerous radicals, but the truly dangerous radicals are the countries that are opening up new fossil fuels. New fossil fuels is moral and economic madness. Why on earth are we doing this?
Are you okay, just to go back to it, with the idea that you don't get bailed if you're charged with one of these offences?
No, I'm not okay with that. Let's talk about who the real criminals are. Let's talk about Rishi Sunak, who has made a deal with his family firm, with BP, for £1.5 billion. Maybe that's why these oil and gas licenses are going ahead. Maybe that's why everybody should start joining us on the street or start doing whatever they can in order to try and pressure this government to stop going ahead with these licenses. Because we all know, we've seen the summer we've had, and we know that it's going to keep getting worse. It's going to keep getting hotter and hotter around the world unless we do something.
Okay, Lorna in Surrey, you can respond to what Alex de Koning of Just Stop Oil has said.
Right, well, I've been thinking, and I do not agree with them. I feel very strongly that people should be charged, because I watched it on telly not so long ago when it was all going, where someone was trying to get the loved one to hospital and they couldn't. Yeah. And an ambulance was trying to get through and they couldn't. So, why do they get away with it? The rest of us would be locked up in the summer for other things. And I just feel very strongly that they shouldn't be allowed. People needing to get to hospital, people, even during COVID, I think they had people out as well.
Alex?
Not good.
Not good.
On motorways as well.
Let him respond, Lorna.
Hi, Lorna. Thank you for your call. First of all, we've never had a complaint from emergency services. We always have blue lights policy. We let ambulances and things through. Secondly, under normal circumstances, you're right, this is completely unacceptable. Disruption for disruption's sake, completely unacceptable. But this is not for disruption's sake. We are in an emergency and we need to start acting like it. The house is on fire. Let's start raising the fire alarm and use the fire extinguishers and get out the house instead of sitting around debating tactics.
Just want to take one more call here from Peter in County Durham. Hi, Peter. What do you say, Peter?
There's no doubt these people should be released if it's the right of everybody that's been arrested to be released on bail, except the murderers and what have you.
Yeah.
But before they're released, they should be divested of all the devices on them.
The what?
The devices.
The devices, right.
Like the phones and what have you, which are all anything plastic, which is derived from oil.
I see. Okay, I was trying to work out why. So we take away shoes, belts, everything.
Clothes, absolutely. I agree.
That's quite an easy misread of quite a serious issue, isn't it? I mean, like, come on, we're talking about not opening, new oil fields. We're not talking about oil that is used in plastic. I mean, like, you can boil it down and try and make it really simplistic like that, but it does nothing for the argument
couldn't
at all.
exist without it. I mean, I'd like to say to Alex, I think you're so arrogant, you lot, because we do very well in this country looking after the atmosphere. Less than 1% of all output in the world comes from the UK. I'll ask you again, please go to China and try your protests in Tiananmen Square, where they're opening a new coal-fired power station every month, and see what response you get there.
Alex.
Mike, can I respond to that?
Oh, please, yeah, quickly.
First, let's talk about what happens if we stop these new oil and gas licenses.
Please respond to what he said.
Renewables. I'm responding, Jeremy, please let me. If we stop these oil and gas licenses, we will have cleaner air. We will have more jobs. We will have lower energy bills.
It'll be minimal.
We will have cheaper public transport. Why on earth would we not want to do that?
All right, thank you. We was asking about why you don't go to China. Thank you very much, Alex de Koning. After the break, should parking fees cost more if drivers pay by cash? A Lib Dem council's new policy has been called discriminatory. It's annoyed a lot of people. 0207 862 2222. We'll see you shortly.